Whether you love or hate her, you can't deny Regina Ip is probably one of the most ambitious and impactful politicians in Hong Kong. From being one of the city's most unpopular ministers to becoming the queen of votes, her career in public service, which spans an astounding 50 years, has been full of ups and downs. She put her name forward to become Hong Kong's leader twice, but failed both times.
Looking back, maybe that was a blessing, because the job of chief executive is so tough.
She was called Hong Kong's Iron Lady, Broomhead, and now Jie or Big Sister, an affectionate nickname given by a growing fan base.
It's really very heartwarming. I think in a way it's a good thing that young people support a political figure like me, who is clearly pro-China.
Now, as her 70 years as a legislator nears its end,
我唔會離開各位，並會一直係為各位服務。
Regina Ip opens up about retirement from the legislature, her biggest regrets, and how she navigates the love-hate relationship with Hongkongers on this edition of The Interview. Thank you so much, Mrs. Ip, for joining us today. So you announced earlier that you decided to step down from the legislature. Is your retirement from the legislature well-planned one? And isn't it a pity for you to leave the legislature when you're still so fit to continue your work?
Well, I toyed with the idea of serving another term, but I think at most I can serve until 79, not any beyond that. I don't want to die in office like Dianne Feinstein, or retire only when I reach 85 like Nancy Pelosi. When I look rather angry one morning, that's because I was suffering from almost a panic attack. I was worried about my party losing a lot of our seats in LegCo. If TK Lai is not going to run, Eunice Yung not going to run. Our young people are ready. If I run again, I won't be able to help them. At the same time, I was worried that we might lose all our seats. So I was really worried that morning. At one time, I was really worried about who to field, how do we play the next campaign.
Was there a lot of behind-the-scene negotiation going on back then on whether you or TK Lai can stay for another term?
Not really. Nobody talked to me about age. The basic law has no mention of age limit, definitely. But when I saw Andrew Leung stepping down, Jeffrey Lam stepping down, and FK Ma, they all stepping down, I thought to myself, if somehow I stayed on, I would be in an invidious position. The other colleagues would be pretty, unhappy. Yeah, that I somehow seem to be privileged.
So you're suggesting there's somehow some inevitable pressure on you and TK Lai when most of the lawmakers aged 70 or above are announcing they're not running for another term?
I wouldn't describe it as pressure, external or internal. There was just a lot of soul searching going on.
So how was the panic attack that morning? Can you tell us more about it? And did you feel better after you finally decided to make the decision?
Yes, I could not sleep well. I was really worried about the future of this new People's Party that I founded. And then that's why I declined to make any announcement until we have finalized our lineup, which we did in the following days, after a lot of internal discussions within this party about who to do what, run in which constituency. And one member had to speed up renunciation of his British citizenship, And so when we finalized everything, we made the announcement on 25th August.
Mrs. Yu, you ran in 5 elections, including the iconic one in 2007, facing off Anson Chan. So can you tell us how did election change you?
I think it changed me completely. I must say, although campaigning is hard work, I enjoy it, and I learned a lot from it. one of your questions was what's your greatest regret and what's your greatest achievement. I don't think I can point to any single task as my greatest achievement, but over the years I'm really quite pleased with the way I've reinvented myself. Because when I was Secretary for Security, toward the end of my career at that time, I was perceived as arrogant, yeah, and detached from the people. And my greatest regret was my inability to steer the Article 23 legislation to a successful close, you know. And I must admit, at that time, lacking experience of working with people, I made all the wrong sound bites, you know. And my communication skills were poor. I said a lot of things which could be twisted and used against me.
So you think it's the election that remake you, rebrand you?
Yes, it's the not one election, the process over the years of during every electoral campaign, you have to interact with the people, engage with the people, listen to different voices. In the past 4 weeks, a lot of subjects like import of labor, I heard different views, you know. Going north for fun, I heard different views, you know. The retail sector and the ordinary people have different views, you know. So it's very interesting, you know. So you learn to be more empathetic, you know, and learn to listen to the people and be their voice. Yeah.
You mentioned the first election was very tough.
Yeah.
Has it been easier for you now?
Great difference, a complete sea change. You know, I do feel that my standing in the eyes of the people have risen, definitely. You know, and there are one or two people who look at our team with scorn. That's inevitable everywhere. There are different opinions, you know. There was one young man I remember, I can't remember, in Cheung Kwan Ho, when we were distributing flyers, a guy said, what did he say? 舉手機器, you know, support machine. All of you just say yes all the time. He quietly said that when he walked past us. But compared to the old days, that's nothing. In the old days, you could get F-bombs, you know. So it's important to hear different voices.
After the 2021 reform, there are only 20 lawmaker seats to be directly elected by general public. Do you hope more lawmakers in the future could get through the training you have in running in direct elections?
Now, more people, although I'll look up the history of our democratic development. We started having direct elections 1991. And at that time, there were 18 seats for direct elections, 18 geographical constituencies, 18 seats. Now we have 20, you know. And this time, there are more candidates than in 2021, at least 5 in each constituency. So you do have more people going through this sort of rough and tumble training. So people are getting the chance to learn, to connect with the people through running in these universal suffrage-based elections.
Just now you mentioned about the biggest regret in your political career. Is your failed bid to run in the top jobs race one of them?
Not really. You know, looking back, I did not feel that bad afterwards, after I failed to get the nominations. Looking back, maybe that was a blessing. You know, because the job of chief executive is so tough, you know. And because after I failed to get the nominations, the first attempt was just a try, because I only campaigned in the last 10 days before the end of the nomination period. The second attempt in early 2017 was a serious one, and we worked very hard. But I knew if I failed to get nominations, I would fall back on my electrical work. You know, I have not lost anything, but instead I gained in public recognition. There was a lot of public sympathy and recognition for my efforts. You know, people have said to me, you are unlikely to win. You are unlikely to get enough nominations. But they didn't realize politicians don't run because they know they would win. Every time you run, you increase your name recognition, you enhance your brand, you get an opportunity to state your views before a very large audience. So I think there were more gains than losses from the 2017 attempt.
So looking back, you saw it as a blessing in disguise?
Yes.
And is it something that you might still consider in the future?
No. Too hard. No. At 75, I think I can still function competently as a legislator if I stay on. But doing John Lee's job, is really overtaxing for me. It's a very difficult job, particularly in the current geopolitical climate.
You have been able to remake yourself from 2003. So if you were to sum up some lessons or experience, if you would like to share with other politicians, what would that be?
Basically, the Article 23 campaign, the government lost because the opposition ran a much more effective PR campaign against the government, or rather smear campaign, as they did in 2019. Somehow they were able to find the right buzzwords that struck fear in the hearts of the people. That's the trick, They ran a campaign of fear against Article 23, and they ran a campaign of fear against the Fugitive Offenders Bill, And some of us play into their hands, I remember in 2023, one of the first, words that were distorted was when L.C. Leung, my colleague, was debating with the legislator, the opposition, about the threat posed by national security legislation. Somebody said it's like a Damocles sword. And L.C. said the sword had always been there. And then someone made a cartoon with a sword above the head of Hong Kong people. And then people started to brand Article 23 as the sword above the head of every Hong Kong person. And then I made a mistake of saying the devil is in the detail, and they twisted around. All the details are diabolic or devilish, And then when I very innocently said to the public during students' forum, trust me, trust Mrs. Ip, I didn't realize I didn't have enough credibility to ask the young people to trust me. And I shouldn't have spent too much time in public rallies, again, which played into the hands of the opposition. That's why when the government relaunched Article 23 last year, they shortened the period of consultation.
Is that an advice from you?
I think they learned from my mistakes. Not direct advice, but they clearly learned from my mistakes. The longer the consultation period, the greater the risk of playing into the hands of the opposition. And make sure that you stick to your script. Don't wander off your script and say, make the sort of sound bites that could be twisted against you. And it worked, tight control of information, tight control of the information you pass to the public to minimize the controversy. So I think they have learned a lot from my mistakes.
But that could also spark criticism from saying that you were just repeating the line without any new information coming up from the government.
That's a calculation the government has to make, because national security legislation or even public order legislation is controversial everywhere. UK also toughened its Public Order Act, and that was controversial. There was opposition from a lot of human rights groups too. So you have to make a balanced judgment on which is more important. Of course, the second attempt to enact Article 23 is you cannot afford to fail. You cannot take any risk. It's a must-succeed project.
Softer question for you. So you have a very colorful political career spanning across 50 years. Like you started as a government official and then resigned as a security minister before you make a very strong comeback as a lawmaker and founded your own party. So looking back, how do you see your political career? Is it something that you have wanted?
I never dreamed that I would become a politician. I thought I would be an academic. Teacher at the university, but somehow things didn't. I think the academic side did not work out, And I really was, groping the stones as I move along the river, as the saying goes, And what I'm really quite pleased is the way I've learned to reinvent myself, particularly through social media. It really started because during festive season, Chinese New Year, winter solstice, you notice a lot of mainland friends, particularly those from the Chinese mainland, they like to send around stickers, with cartoon, with drawings of their face, sometimes as some demigod, Chang'e, a fairy, that sort of thing. So I thought instead of having these drawings, why don't I make real-life photos of myself wearing cheongsam and all that? So it started at 2018. Instead of sending around that sort of stickers, make photos. And
is it your own idea or suggested?
My idea. It's my idea. It was my idea. And then we had some fun, quite good fun. It started, I think, 2018, and the reception was good. So we decided to carry on. And then gradually, 2018 now is 7 years. It took 7 years to build a base. And you not only have to send around photos, you need to again engage, interact with the people who comment on your photos, including people who poke fun at you. In other words, you need to have a thick skin. And I don't mind playing with the young people. It's like playing with the young people when they ask me, do this, do this, I don't mind, when I see them on the streets. A young person told me, it means you are listening, you are following, you are on the same page as the young people. That's why they like you. A young person told me that.
So your social media campaign has been running for 8 years, and how do you see the achievement so far?
It has now 50,000 followers, which is minimal by Chinese mainland standards or global standards. But for a politician, it's quite a record. It's quite a record, And some of my Christmas or New Year videos, just doing simple things. The highest record, me selling two dish meals, had almost 2 million views. Both doing dim sum trolley.
How do you come up with these ideas?
I thought it was fun.
From 2-dish rice and dim sum and
dim sum,
all those.
I borrowed the costume from the restaurant. Harbor.
So it's a real costume from the restaurant?
Yeah, they loaned me the costume. It's a restaurant in Western. And then doing the trolley, and then the 2-dish meal. I thought that was fun.
Have you ever checked the comments from the young people? Like many of them affectionately calling you 姐姐.
Yes.
How do you see all those comments?
I think they're quite affectionate, calling me 姐姐 rather than 婆婆.
Is it because you call Carrie Lam 妹妹?
Well, I didn't call her 妹妹, the media called her 妹妹. The birthday party really caught me by surprise. It was totally fan-initiated, and it caused the police some alarm, because they didn't give notice under the relevant legislation, But they were pretty orderly, and I think in a way it's a good thing that young people support a political figure like me, who is clearly pro-China. It's really very heartwarming. It's something that I would look back with when eventually I stopped working with considerable satisfaction, that I'm able to communicate with these young people, young students, 15-year-olds, 16-year-olds, college students. It's really very heartwarming.
So we'll stay tuned to your social media account, and thank you so much for your time to talk to us, to share so much about your life and your days in Letchco.
Thank you.
哇，你真係着 Stanford 喎。
係，try to look more elitist.